Hi, this is Diane Knudsen for The Take, and we're at Comic-Con, and we're here to talk about Kill Shakespeare with
Conor McCreery.
Anthony Delcall.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Who wants to start and tell us about Kill Shakespeare?
Sure, I'll start. I've got the hot seat here. So Kill Shakespeare is an action-adventure tale that takes all of the bard's greatest heroes and most menacing villains and squishes them in the same world and same story on a quest to either save or kill a mysterious wizard named William Shakespeare. Oh, she's good.
Oh,
that's
so
brilliant.
You guessed it.
That's
well,
brilliant.
thank you. I'm so glad you think.
It's brilliant. It's wonderful to see something so unique.
Yeah, no, it's completely different, yet it's the same. I mean, there seems to be a big trend right now in pop culture to mash up, pre-existing characters. So things like, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, or Fables, or The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. So this is one of these. But the thing is, with all of those, you have a certain number of people that know those characters, but these are Shakespeare's characters, and they've lived on for 400 years, and everybody internationally. I mean, whether you're in North America, Europe, Asia, the Middle East, I mean, everybody knows who Hamlet is, Juliet, Othello, Lady Macbeth, Richard III. I mean, these are the greatest characters ever created.
And those are all incorporated within the Kill
Shakespeare. All there,
yeah.
We use Hamlet as our main character. We take him from the play where he's banished. He's on a ship with his two buddies, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. The ship is attacked by pirates. He's thrown overboard and washed ashore on this land. And it's on the land that every person that he meets are Shakespeare's characters. So Richard III cuts a deal with him and says, "I'll bring your dead father back to life, but I need you to kill the Shakespeare guy." So Hamlet then goes on this quest to find Shakespeare, and he meets Juliet, Othello, Falstaff, and they say, well, actually, you're supposed to find Shakespeare, but not kill him, but save him. So Hamlet has this ultimate quest, do I find a god, save him, or do I find him and kill him? To kill or not to kill? That is the question.
Yeah, I like that very much. So when was the idea conceived? How long have you been working on it?
We've been working on this for probably almost 6 years. We came up with the idea years ago. Anthony and I both work in film and television back in Canada. And we were brainstorming video game ideas, and Kill Bill was out, and Anthony made a crack about, instead of killing David Carradine, it should be Billy Shakespeare. What if it was all, Romeo and Hamlet would be on one side, and Richard and Lady Macbeth would be on another, and we kind of stopped and looked at each other and thought, wow, that's actually a really good idea. And I think what made it really fly was because we both really love Shakespeare. I mean, Anthony's seen Shakespeare live at least once for the last 15 years. I had a minor in theater in university, so I was exposed to Shakespeare, and it's just so rich. The characters are so rich, and you get to tell so many interesting stories. And as creators, it's really satisfying. It was surprisingly easy to get these characters to jump into our story.
That's wonderful. That's one of those days that's just kind of like what if we did this?
Yeah, exactly.
That you get to bring such legendary, brilliant,
a gray May
centuries
day.
old, and still beloved characters back for us.
That's true. Well, Pablo Picasso said that good artists cheat and great artists steal, and that's exactly what we're doing. We thought rather than trying to come up with our own characters, we just kind of take the greatest ever created and kind of play with them and see what happens. So.
Aren't you in great company all around with Picasso and the characters of William Shakespeare?
And the other thing too is when Anthony was saying either is or before that this is different but the same. I mean, so many classic great artists of our time, Baz Luhrmann for example, have taken Shakespeare's plays and they've changed them. I mean, they're still faithful at the core to the true story, but they've changed lots of things. We've seen all sorts of Shakespearean plays retold, modernized, everything. So for us, even though we're mashing the characters into a new story together, which hasn't been done, we still feel we're part of a proud tradition of taking these core themes and playing with them a little bit and making them accessible in a different way.
And exposing, newer audiences, new generations to
that's
something.
That's the whole point, is to get that 15-year-old kid who just doesn't like to read Romeo and Juliet in class and have them go, well, Juliet's actually pretty hot, or Othello's pretty badass, or whatever they want to say. And just kind of redefine Shakespeare for a whole new generation and shine a spotlight on these characters.
And you take on classics.
I guess so, yeah.
That's amazing.
And, the interesting thing is, Shakespeare kind of stole his ideas from everyone else, too. He was the ultimate aggregator, and no one really talks about that. But I think we've always joked that if he was still alive, he'd pat us on the back and say, yeah, this is a really good job, and then of course he'd send his lawyers on us. So. Yeah. Yeah.
I think you're right.
Although he wanted to kill all the
Yeah,
lawyers,
exactly.
didn't he?
Yeah,
So
wait a
that it might get complex. But yeah, no, for us,
Yeah.
we also wanted to make this a very accessible action adventure story. So we tell people this is kind of like Lord of the Rings meets Shakespeare in Love.
Okay.
You know, download it on your iPod or go to your comic store or go to Borders, you know, pick it up and you'll probably dig it. Even if you don't think you're a Shakespeare fan, you actually are, because every story you love is based on a theme that was present in a Shakespearean story.
Well, I'm going to get it, and I know I'm going to dig it. So, thank you so much for joining me today.
We had a great
Connor
time.
and Anthony.
Thanks.
Thank you. Have a great show, a great time. Kill Shakespeare. And this is Diane at New York Comic Con for The Take.